Dun.
What's up, Schmac Talk? Welcome back to another installment of the Star Wars Trilogy.
Yeah, part two.
Part two.
Part two.
Part two.
I mean, we just finished the first trilogy, the prequels, not the first trilogy.
Yeah.
But so speaking of trilogies, now we're on the second trilogy in chronological order. But it's the first one in our hearts, right?
Yeah.
Number one.
First to release, gotta be the first in your heart. You know what I mean?
Number one in the cinema, number one in our hearts. Okay. The OG of Star Wars episodes 4, 5, 6.
Hey, let's get at it. So if you guys aren't aware of what episodes 4, 5, 6 are,
That means you're living under a rock.
Yeah. And if you know 1, 2, and 3, but don't know 4, 5, 6, I also question who.
I have a lot of follow-up questions for that.
Yeah.
If you don't know what 4, 5, and 6, like, I'm sure a bunch of people, because there are some, not Star Wars fan people out there, but I'm sure everybody knows the main characters of 4, 5, 6.
Oh yeah,
because we got our Skywalker, we got Luke.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that one.
Spoiler. He changes names. No, you got Luke, you got Leia, you got Han, you got Chewie. Okay, the fan favorite. Everybody knows Vader, right? And everybody knows Sidious,
Mando?
right?
Oh yeah.
You say Mando? Mando's so good
Lando.
Too. Yeah, Mando's really good, but he's not in there.
Yeah, but Lando Calrissian.
Yeah, he's good.
Dude. Yeah. Who else? What's General Akbar? It's a trap. It's a trap. Iconic scene.
Oh my god.
I guarantee you could show that to a lot of people and they'd be like, I don't know who that is.
How many memes of that do you think are out there?
So many. I use it so often.
I was gonna say, I think it's a lot. It's very applicable. All right.
It's trap, bud. That's the go-to trap card player. Like if you know someone's getting into something that it's definitely a trap, just send them that. I think they'll get the hint,
that's also, you're speaking of iconic, it's the X-Wing and the Y-Wing.
Yeah.
Right?
X-Wing, Y-Wing, and then you get the TIE fighters from the
Empire. Oh my gosh. They sound like Indy cars. The more and more I watch the movies, I would not be shocked if they told me that they went to an Indy car race, or when it was a NASCAR race, when it was like the piston, when it was like the really high pitched engines. I wouldn't be surprised if they just sat like trackside and they went by with
all right, that works. Thanks, Ed.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I mean, would you? That would make a lot more sense.
I don't think so. I think
I'm looking at
it do sound super similar, and I'd be really curious if they have it out on how they made that sound.
No way.
What?
Sound designer created the distinct TIE fighter sound by combining an elephant trumpeting with a car driving on wet pavement. What? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Like, I hear it now though.
I mean, yeah, but
like I'm also like,
out of all combos, why would you go to that? Oh
yeah,
my god.
Yeah. In case if you didn't know at home, that's how the TIE fighter sound was created.
Oh my gosh.
Tune in next week.
Jeez, elephants. No. Going on this. Speaking of elephants, Jurassic Park, the infamous T-Rex roar. It was a combination of a baby elephant squeal, an alligator's gurgle, and a tiger snarl. Like, why? Like, how do these people even think of, let me try this sound in order to get the sound I'm looking for? Like, what
Yeah.
makes you think, let me take an elephant with a alligator with a tiger and it's going to make this roar that I'm looking for? Or let me take an elephant with a
But
car
like I can
driving.
hear the lion part in it. I
The
guess
tiger
like you
part,
get,
there's no lion.
or yeah, the tiger part in it.
Oh, for sure. That one's really easy. Like once I read that, I was
But
like, oh yeah.
but then like now that you're saying it, I hear the alligator part because that's where you get like the deeper tone of the like roar.
Yeah.
But how do people think of this shit? Like I would not know that that would be how you would create that sound. Dude, what the? Is this like some perfect pitch thing where like if you play a note, someone can be like, oh, that's a C. Oh, that's a C sharp.
All right. So laser noises, ready? Laser noises in Star Wars were made they were made from using slinkies and coils moving. So like, you know, like when you have coils and you like hit it and it goes ding,
Yeah.
that was the pew 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 pew. Like now you hear it. Now you hear it because you think of the coil go. And now you could hear it, but like, oh my gosh.
What the?
Yeah.
That.
Whew.
I don't know if that's gonna ruin the movie for me. I'm just gonna be sitting there and be like, ping, bing, bing, bing,
I know.
bing, 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 bing.
You're just gonna think when they were shooting this, right? And it was and blaster and blaster. You got somebody in the back. Ding, 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 ding. Like,
Oh, cannon, big. Like
bigger
what?
coil. Boom, boom, boom.
Dude, what the?
Now I'm like Death Star. Where sounds of the Death Star?
R2D2. Like what? What? That's probably just like beep, 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 beep. Probably just old like computer sounds.
It says that that the Death Star was just 5 blaster shots played at the same time to amplify it, everything. Interesting.
I can hear it though.
Oh my gosh, Chewbacca's roar. Uh-oh.
Oh god, no.
Sample. Many animals were sampled for the roars and moans of everyone's favorite Wookiee, including 4 bears, a badger, a lion, and a seal, as well as a walrus, who was sadly moaning because his pool had been emptied for cleaning. The last one is probably why fans feel so much sympathy, for it is essentially a giant dog man. So they just used a bunch of,
They just put them all together and to make one
yeah,
super sound essentially.
like what?
Dude.
So, oh my gosh, why did it put me in the middle of this article? There's 15 things here. Oh my gosh. Okay. And ATT, so like the walkers, the ATT walkers, to create the sound of the slow, menacing Imperial vehicle joints walking through Hoth. It would use a sound very locally sourced. It came from a dumpster in front of his house that had a squeaky quality. All right. What? He used a dumpster and was moving the dumpster in order to make it sound like, oh my gosh, okay.
How I want to know like how people think of like, oh, this would make a perfect sound for
That's
like
what I'm
a
saying.
horse. Like I bet for I bet for a horse it's actually for a horse it's probably like a wood block or something.
Well, that horse-like creature that Luke rode on Hoth that ends up unfortunately getting eaten by the Yeti looking thing. It was
the Tauntaun.
Yeah, his sound was from a sea otter. So good times. What is it? Okay, so the General Grievous's cough is a George Lucas cough when he had bronchitis.
Oh my god. Wait, does he even voice?
No.
I was about to say, I was like, I don't think he voices, but they probably just like took a sample of his cough and was like, yeah, put it in there. There it is.
Yeah. Boba Fett's ship. The sound was made like of it flying away.
Yeah.
Was made from a Dodge Duster's horn and a trumpet.
What? How?
So like, yeah. And then, pod racers. We talked about pod racers last time. He used sounds of real pre-existing fast cars such as Mustangs and Porsches. So just took like engine noises and manipulated them.
Okay, because I was about to be like, wait, what? But now I can see how that sounds like an idol.
Oh my gosh, the Tusken Raiders. Take a wild guess where their scream came from.
Wait, are they those Tusken Raiders are the sand people, right? And
yeah. Like, yeah, that scream. Where do you think it comes from?
Like a steel?
No, it's a donkey. It is a donkey.
That makes sense though.
It makes a lot of sense. Oh my gosh. TIE fighters we already knew. Shots we already talked about. Chewbacca. Okay. R2D2. It was made with a sympathizer.
A synthesizer?
It says sympathizer.
Sympathizer?
Yeah. What is this?
My name is Sammy Sprinkler.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the breathing for Darth Vader came from a scuba suit. Yeah, it came from a scuba suit.
I hear that though. Like
I know
that one, like I get like it would have to be some kind of like breathing apparatus because that's the only way it makes sense.
And a lightsaber, the hum, that came from an old motor from an overhead projector at USC's campus out in California.
Bro, no freaking way.
Did that just take away some of the magic? Imagine if you're in that class using that projector. But after you see the movies, but
that would be honestly, if you saw those movies and then heard, oh hey, that was made like we use that projector right above us for that sound. You literally just be sitting there and be like,
every time it turns on
right now, guys, what's up?
Like, oh my gosh. Okay, well, we got sidetracked a lot.
But like back to the episodes.
Yeah.
So you got those main characters that everyone knows. So if you don't know, episode 4, A New Hope, 5, Empire Strikes Back, and 6, Return of the Jedi.
Absolutely.
All amazing movies. For coming out in 1977, which is the year that the 4th episode released, A New Hope. Oh my gosh, that it looks like it's light years above the CGI and special effects that you're
light
seeing.
years.
Like, dude, like
For real though, I mean,
Like
you're
the
talking
lightsabers like are perfectly in like line
in
with,
sync. Yeah, it's not drug behind at all. It's not like
yeah,
it does not look like a whip in any way. Like it looks like it came right out of their handle. Um, I mean, it's when you're in 1970, obviously neither one of us were there, so we don't know
yeah,
exactly what it's like. Get a good sense from that 70s show, but
yeah,
I mean, we're talking space special effects at its finest.
yeah,
I mean, we talked previously when we were talking about Jurassic Park, how that was iconic for CGI purposes and using animatronics, and like it really opened using CGI for animals as well as trying to use as many animatronics as possible. Well, Star Wars, it also was iconic. I think without Star Wars, Jurassic Park doesn't happen.
so yeah,
If I'm being completely honest with you.
yeah, because you got to think with what Star Wars did for the time, and you know, just movies in general. Like I can't think of any other like movie from that time period where you see like full like laser battles with people, and like
Mhm.
when they get hit you see smoke coming off of them.
Yeah.
So like, dude, the timing and setting everything up there from like a cin,
Cinematic.
from cinematic perspective. I was like cinematographer, and then I was like, okay, wait, that's not what I'm looking for. But yeah, from a cinematic perspective, like the everything in there is like drawn in or something. Like it's those aren't actual, like they're not actually shooting lasers and getting picked up there. And for the time and technology, roughly what you were seeing for like computer wise would be like big corporations would have them.
Hmm.
They weren't really in the home per se, besides like an Atari. I think
Yeah,
Atari is 1970, right?
I think it's around there.
Yeah, roughly that era. Um, Yeah, because on that 70s show they got that, that's credible source, right?
Oh, that's a very credible source. That's
um
exactly what happened in the 70s in Wisconsin.
this happened to everybody in Wisconsin in the 1970s. So yeah, this was going on. There was an Eric Foreman in every town. There was a
Ain't
Donna
that the
Pinciotti.
truth? Oh, Donna. Donna, Donna, Donna. Too good for Eric.
Oh my gosh.
We don't need to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But
Fez.
going back to Star Wars. You the special effects done there, especially with all the like 8 walkers and all the flying and everything. If that wasn't done in that film, I can't say that Jurassic World would happen the same.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean, that's what you just brought up, the walkers. I mean, the reality is, I mean, we're aware that a lot of stuff with Star Wars, with episodes 4, 5, 6, were shot on a small, not human size, right? Like it was on a
small
small
scale, yeah,
set. Yeah. Um, and we're aware of that, but the fact that they still made it so lifelike. I
yeah,
mean, you're talking about the time and details it takes in order to make a little scene actually appear as if it's another planet. And you also have, you know, you have to make stuff blow up in regard to universe size, where you have planets that actually get blown up, like,
yeah,
so it, and some of it is trial and error. So the fact that they were able to make it look so realistic when it's on a small platform and small scale, I think that's even more impressive,
yeah,
because it's, yeah, like obviously with the lightsabers and everything you made it look realistic, but then you made all of these connecting, these jointing scenes appear realistic when we know that it's probably the scale of our desk.
yeah. And you kind of you can't tell. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Like, I literally just watched all 3 of those like right before this, so I can tell you for a fact that if you do like a lot of like stop motion stuff, like you might be able to tell, or you have experience in cinematography and you can like break down the scene and say why everything looks how it does, then I'll probably believe you. But from just a standard like non-cinematographer, non like movie maker looking at that, you're like, oh my god, how?
Yeah.
Like,
And that's what you brought up, the whole like there is probably some stop motion going on there, but everything plays so well together. And I think that comes in, everyone talks about how the music makes it, right? And I have this conversation with my brother. Yeah, and I have this conversation with my brother, who's a music ed major. You know, music is his life, and we talk about movies, not just Star Wars, but movies in general are, you know, it's a make and break based on their soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
And all of the in between scenes, all of the background music that's going on in Star Wars perfectly glides you along with its story, ties everything in together. And for those stop motion parts, it distracts you enough that you don't even think about it being stop motion.
Yeah.
Because then you're taken in by the music and you put yourself in that scenario, you put yourself in that setting. It does a fantastic job at grasping you as the human and dragging you into the story.
Yeah, and I don't think that really gets credited enough.
No.
As far as the soundtrack for Star Wars, 1, 2, 3 through 7, 8, 9, through Solo, through all the other stuff, the soundtrack is pretty much based off of the same kind of sound. You know, you throw a little like deeper tone to it, you get more of the dark side. You throw a little lighter tone on it, you get more of the good side.
It's more the playful versus the serious.
Yeah, and just how it intertwines within the movie, even just like the background music. Like, if I think a lot of people overlook the background music, just like when like, oh, Chewie and Han are talking about something, but like you feel the suspense building. So in the background, you hear like a little violin or like some kind of drums starting to play.
It does so much that you don't realize unless you're looking for it.
Yeah. Like, watch a movie, completely mute the sound, and tell me if you still like the movie.
Well, okay, I'll watch that with Jurassic Park, and I still will. So
get wrecked, idiot.
What you really should say is pick a new movie you haven't seen before, watch it on mute, captions on, right?
Yeah.
And then rewatch it with that sound and see how much more emotional you become throughout the entire movie.
Yeah. And if we're getting into the music part of it, you know, we can look at, well, I mean, we already looked at how all the sounds are made.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Crap. It's gonna be. Oh, I'm gonna be done watching Star Wars now. Frick.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna rewatch it every blaster.
Which, like, I hear, like, that's the like.
I know. Once you know
so
what it is,
vivid.
You're like,
it's
oh
just
my
like,
god.
oh my god, what the fuck? Now I'm like, oh, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah. Oh
But
man.
as far as 4, 5, and 6 go, you know, the originals. I forget what year 6 came out.
I do not remember. It was before I was born.
1980, like
1983. What is it?
All right, episode 6.
Change my answer. 85.
85. Oh, you should have kept it at 83, my guy.
No, really?
RIP. Yeah. Yeah. So 6 came out in 83. 7 came, or 4 came out in 77. And then 5, I believe, was like 1981. If I'm not mistaken. Oh no, 1980. So 70, 80, and 83. So 3 years,
Yeah, it's not bad. That's actually really good for that time.
Yeah.
Like the turnaround of it.
Yeah. That's really good. And then you see like I just want to see what 1, 2, and 3 are. So 99 was 1. I believe 2 was like 2000. 2 was 2002, so it might be every 3 years. 2000. Yeah, 2005. Yeah, was 3. And then there's always a huge gap, and then you get like
yeah
2015,
and you get in your feelings again.
Oh wait,
like, oh my god,
2015,
it's
2017. And then
like that was because there was a huge like push for it, because they're like, we want more.
I mean, who doesn't like a good Star Wars movie? So I mean,
those Star Trek people.
Yeah, losers, nerds.
All out war has begun.
But I can't say much because people probably look at Star Wars and go, nerd. And I'm like, yeah.
I was gonna say I own it. I'm like, yeah, and
it's like, yeah, okay.
I'm a grown adult with a job. I'm fine, thank you.
It's fine. I want a lightsaber.
I do want a lightsaber. I need to get a new lightsaber. I need to build one when I go to Disney next year.
Just be like, get the dual.
I don't know. That's a pain to like travel with.
Yeah, that is true. But it looked nice. It looked very nice.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
I wonder if you can get like a case, bring like a case with you. Like look up dual wield lightsaber case. Bring that with you. And then when you bring it back, you're just like, it's my lightsaber.
I'm not taking a case with me. It's not happening.
Well, you ain't getting no lightsaber then. All right.
I'm getting a lightsaber. It's not going to be a double one. It's going to be a blue version of Kylo Ren's.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah. Think about that.
I can dig it.
Okay, let's get back on track though. Okay.
Or like Darth Maul dual wield. I'm just saying.
Okay. We've already talked about like how impressive it is. I think everybody knows how iconic these movies are, right?
Yeah.
But one of the big things talked about is that huge plot twist, right?
Yeah.
That huge plot twist of, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, turn away now. Where Darth Vader reveals to Luke that he's his dad, right? Yeah. And then we come out and find out that he's also Leia's dad. Now, how much of a plot twist do you think it was for individuals who grew up in the time of they watched the episodes 4, 5, 6 and had to wait for 1, 2, 3 where it explains everything, versus our generation where we grew up with, by the time we could comprehend Star Wars, we could easily just watch it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How much more of a plot twist do you think it was for individuals who did not even know what 1, 2, and 3 were?
So I mean, just for me, I know like I grew up on 4, 5, 6 first, and then later got into 1, 2, 3. So for me, when I first saw it, you're just like, wait, what? No, his dad's Anakin Skywalker, not Darth Vader. What? And then you figure out that, when they say, yeah, Anakin Skywalker, they're literally just saying Darth Vader, but like his good self, essentially. Mm-hmm. And that you can say, oh, Anakin died and now I'm Darth Vader. So yeah. And I was blown away by it. I think pretty much anyone who like grew up before 1, 2, 3 was probably blown away about seeing, oh, hey, Luke, I'm your dad. I'm trying to kill you, but like you should join me on the dark side so I don't have to kill you. But like I'm not gonna kill you because like you're my son. So like, I mean, just join the dark side, but like you're also gonna hit a soft point for me, and then I'm gonna kill myself to kill Darth Sidious, or kill Darth Sidious. Sorry, spoilers. If you haven't seen 789, check that out. You'll learn a lot about Darth Sidious or Lord Tyrannus.
Creepy and crazy, right?
Yeah.
So building off of that, though, how many people? You can speak for yourself because you watched it 4, 5, 6. Although my parents, my mother refuses to watch anything other than 4, 5, 6. If 1, 2, 3, or 7, 8, or 9 are on the TV, even though we, because sometimes they're on TBS or TNT, like they're on during the weekends, and we have all the movies. She refuses to watch them because there's only one Star Wars in her mind, 4, 5, 6. And after deep diving into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I understand what she's saying, but I also try to urge her at least watch 7, 8, 9.
Yeah,
if you don't want to watch the prequels, whatever. But 7, 8, 9.
Say you at least gotta watch it once just so you get the whole gist of it, and then after you've done that, if you only want to watch 4, 5, 6,
like it is what it is. But you were brought up on 4, 5, 6 first. Again, my parents were both 4, 5, 6, but I watched them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that was partially my self-diagnosed OCD, where I'm like, well, it's episode 1. I have to watch episode 1 first.
Why would I start on 4? Are you guys like? Do you not know how to count?
It took me so long to understand. I think it was like finally in middle school it clicked, where it's like, 4, 5, and 6 look older because they were made first. And then once you dive in and you realize why he chose that, but you can speak on the fact of for some people, when that shock came of I'm your father, like DNA test is back, you are the father. How many people do you think, and did you think that it was a lie? Did you not believe Vader?
So for a while I was like, bro, he's definitely just trying to get Luke to like switch over to the light, to the dark side, and he's just gonna say like, I'm your dad, to try and employ the string of, you don't have a dad, I will be your dad, and I'll like take care of you. That's kind of what I was thinking. But then you get into like the, oh wait, like he is his dad, and then you find out about Leia, and then for me, then I watched 1, 2, 3 and was like, oh my god, what? And so like that, like watching 1, 2, 3, that's kind of why I like 3, and then like kind of screw 1 and 2, but you kind of have to know 1 and 2, like 1's like,
you need to know what is leading Anakin to his destruction.
Exactly. And to completely comprehend that, you have to see 1, 2, 3, and then you see 4, 5, 6. But so that brings me into a point here. In 4, 5, 6, you see him turn back to being like kind of a good guy. If you don't know the whole thing, so like you see like, oh, Luke and Leia start coming into the scene. He gets Leia captured on their like Imperial cruiser Death Star, and they're about to blow up Alderaan, and he's just like, oh, like, yeah, we can kill her now. And he was like, no, we can't. We can get more information from her, just kind of keeping her alive, because he knows that's my daughter and I don't want her to die, but I also want to take down the rebel and bring him over to my side. And then you see him meet like Luke, and he's like, Luke, join me. You blew up the Death Star, like, join me. Come on, Luke. Like,
well, and part of me is intrigued by, do you think that this bombshell was meant to make people not believe, right? To make it a realization even more of like, oh my gosh, like it's a plot twist than a plot twist, even though it's not. If that makes sense, where you're in denial until it finally becomes reality, and then you're like, oh my god, like.
But like, I feel like you don't see that unless if you see 1, 2, and 3, though, because you have to understand the development of Anakin into Darth Vader to see him go from being the sweet young kid that was really into becoming a Jedi,
spitting game with
a like 20-year-old as he's like 6 years old.
Hey, they do it different in space, man.
Yeah, it's different time, but you see that develop, and then you see him in 2 kind of, because he's a more mature adult. I'd say he's probably about like 18, like later teens or early 20s, and you see him
Very
kind of
mature adult.
rebel. I don't know about very mature, but he's maturing and thinks he's matured.
Yeah.
But you see that kind of lead to his demise. He's like, I'm ready for this. I'm ready to do this. I need to do this. And that you see him get rejected by the Jedi Council to go to do different missions. And then he's like, okay, get into 3. You really start seeing his kind of downfall. He's become part of the council, but he's not considered a master, because they see a lot of like fog within his like intentions. And then you see him completely turn to the dark side when he sits down with the chancellor and gets all of his like, oh, I can keep people alive. I know you're having this dream about Padme dying, which he's implanting into her due to that Sith style magic,
Yeah.
And you see that in 456 when he's starting to bait Luke into coming to the city in the sky. I can't think.
Yes.
I think where they meet Lando. So he baits him in there to the trap where Leia goes, Luke, no, it's a trap. And then he gets trapped essentially, escapes because gets his arm chopped off, drops off the city, and is basically holding on one-handed on a city that is being held up by literally like this one post in the sky. And then like Leia's like, oh my god, Luke, and feels this force pull her back to him. They go back, they get him. It's crazy, right? Come into 6, you see Darth Vader is now, he's like, okay, we're taking over Endor, we're taking over everything, the Sith will rule. Then you see him, he's baiting Luke to basically come and fight him so he can either join them and become a Sith Lord with him, and then they'll take over the galaxy, or they're going to fight it out and one of them's going to die. They fight it out, and you get a little turn in the story here. You think Darth Vader's just a bad guy, just doesn't care about his kids. Nah, dude puts his body in front of Sidious and just like is taking all this electric, picks him up, and then
yeets him.
He's gone. And then Luke's like, oh my god, Dad, you saved me. And Daddy! He's like someone help him, but he dies, And then to end 6, you see, they're sitting there celebrating. You see Anakin, Luke, or no, Anakin,
Luke is not
Obi-Wan,
dead yet.
Yoda. Just those
it's just those 3.
Yeah.
Did you know though that the original version was just Darth Vader?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after, I think that's the coolest thing, is that after 1, 2, and 3, they put
edited it.
Anakin back into it.
Yeah,
like that's pretty cool that they edited that. I think that's
scene. So cool, because like when you look at it, you don't want to see Vader because it's like, oh, there's like the dark side, and when you see Anakin and you're like, oh, that's Anakin, that's like the good guy, it's not the Darth Maul, and that's what to rule the whole galaxy.
And we talked about with the first 3 is that it's all about Anakin's journey. It's all about Anakin, and then Luke and Leia, but it's predominantly Luke. And then with the last 3, you have Rey, who ends up taking the name Skywalker. So that's what like everyone's like, it's the Skywalker saga. It's that part of Star Wars. But I mean, it's just the one question, because you're bringing up like the Force and how they can feel certain things and interpret other people's thoughts and implant things within other individuals. And you mentioned how Vader could sense that Leia was special to him, right? Like he cared for her for some reason. Why do you think Sidious didn't catch on to this?
I think
Vader could tell Yeah, but he didn't do anything.
I mean, you kind of get the sense. So there's a point where Darth Vader calls and is like talking to Sidious in 456. I believe it's 4, and when he's like understanding, like he's like, the Force is strong with this one, and referring to Luke when they're in the TIE fighters and he's about to blow up the Death Star. You have that part, so it's like, okay, this Force is strong with him. He turns off his computers and blows up the Death Star just based on his pure instinct, essentially.
Yeah.
And then in 5, I believe there's a part where Sidious is like, hey, you gotta kill him or make him join our side. And he's like, oh, I will make him join our side and we'll rule the galaxy. So I see it as, he's trying to, bring him. I feel like that's Sidious knowing, hey, you have to either kill him or they have to join us. There's no like in between. And I feel like he notices that for Leia too, but like you don't really see that like interaction of Lord Sidious and Leia through the movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. The one thing that I would jump on is you mentioned how the Sidious gave the option of like, he's either going to join us or, you're going to kill him. But in reality, if you think about it, he really only gave Vader one option. That was to kill him, because with the Sith, it's one master and one apprentice, no more, no less. Right? Like it's always two individuals. And again, like that's what, if we dive into like the shows and the books and everything,
the death of Vader there anyway, because
that's what I think he's getting at. Is
that's
that
basically what happened with so Darth Maul was the apprentice in 1. He gets killed, and then in 2, it was Dooku.
Yes, which we talked about off air, about how he didn't agree with the Jedi, but he didn't agree with the Sith. But that's like the Sith needed somebody, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and then so once he died, then Palpatine is like,
went after Anakin.
Grievous as kind of like a hitman and in between guy. And then
because you can't have a droid be
a Jedi,
like you can't have him be Force, be one with the Force. So he used him as a distraction and as a target, and like you said, a hitman, pretty much, to take out Jedi. But he was really going after Anakin and grooming Anakin for the next apprenticeship.
And so he comes in, becomes Vader. So then it can only be one apprentice. So if Luke was like, hey, I want to join you on the dark side, is that the death of Vader right there? Because
I think so. I think
more than one, at least. But then you only find that out until the next like 3 movies, because that's in, or no, that's in 1, 2, and
that's
3.
in the prequels that Yoda says, one master, one apprentice, no more, no less. About the Sith. And what I was going to say is that leads us into, because I'm sure some individuals will say, oh, well, what about all the shows and everything? And it's, well, with the Inquisitors, right? But those aren't necessarily Sith. But I think that's where it can get a little tricky. But when we're talking about like Sith lords, you have a master and an apprentice. And I feel like the Inquisitors are individuals who are strong with the Force, but are essentially hitmen. The like life forms of Grievous.
Essentially. They're not like, oh, I'm Lord Sidious or I'm Darth Maul, but they have like a reputation as like a hitman that's willing to do the dirty work, essentially.
Yes.
I definitely would agree with that. And you're right with the shows bringing in a lot of like
controversy.
Yeah, but I also feel like, oh, Sith Lord, Sith Lord. It's so easy to just be like, oh, new Sith Lord, Sith Lord. But then, like, over time, when one dies, the next one doesn't like, it just shows up.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming like time passes and another one comes in.
Yeah.
It's not constantly like, oh, here's one and here's another, and it's just like they're walking out the same door, just like, here's another Sith Lord, but that does create some confusion, I would say, especially as far as like how many Sith Lords there can be.
Yeah.
Well, in 789, there's only really Sidious and Ren, right? There's no other like dark.
Well, it's Snoke, but as we know, because we've seen it, it's actually Sidious doing everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just that, and that, I guess that's one question I have is how much different, how much more intriguing as well as impactful would the the world of Star Wars be if there's a Jedi Council? What if there was a Sith Council, right? Like,
Yeah. No,
what if they had their own thing? Like, what's going on here?
What if it was like backwards and there was a Sith Council and like a Jedi,
just a small group of Jedi, and that's it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's one thing that's intriguing to think about.
Because you could almost think of it like, oh, I'm a Sith Lord, but I'm doing what's good for humanity. And then, it's like, oh, I'm a Jedi, I'm doing what's good for humanity. But it's like, at the end of the day, you're the same like person, just how you want things to run is differently. It's different, essentially.
So, I mean, it's very interesting. I would say let's hit on the effects one more time, and then we can leave on the rest. But with us highlighting, walking through how all the sounds were made, we know that they didn't have high-tech stuff, right? The technology wasn't where it is now. With that being said, how amazing do you think 4, 5, and 6 would be if we had the technology of today?
Phenomenal.
How much crisper do you think everything would be?
It would that would be something that I can't even like comprehend, because it's literally like, the part I like about 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9 is like, okay, the CGI is like updated, the effects look super realistic and everything. But if you go into watching 4, 5, 6, like the effects look realistic, but you can tell that they're like effects essentially.
Yeah.
Like you can tell that like, oh, this droid looks like fake. Oh, that's just like a trash can or whatever.
They probably used Oscar the Grouch as reference.
I was like, oh, how can we make Oscar the Grouch? Just like make it so the lid stays down and has legs. There you go.
Now we need to pick the brains. Did you use Sesame Street for reference?
I did, but I did not. But I did, but like I didn't.
I plead the fifth.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh man.
Oh, God.
I mean, no, I agree. Like, it would be. It would be so realistic, because 7, 8, 9 are so realistic.
Yeah, like you can't even tell. Well, I think there's a few bloopers in there.
Yeah,
where like the lightsabers look like bendy. But I also haven't seen those in a while. But I'm watching those next for next week's episode. So come back.
Of course.
Got that shameless plug. Come on back.
Yeah, but no, I mean, if you had today's technology with that,
it'd be amazing
story.
It'd be ridiculous. It would literally be what we see now in 7, 8, 9, and the part that we like about the cinematography looks really good. Mm-hmm. Where 4, 5, 6, the story and how it plays out is amazing.
Yes.
Everything is lined up so perfectly and plays out so well. If you just add the cinematography aspect on it, I think it would blow. It would make 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9 look like garbage, essentially, and just be like, okay, these are extra. We don't need these. I don't want to watch these.
Yeah.
Because that's how I view 4, 5, 6. The story is phenomenal. 7, 8, 9. The story is pretty good. But I also, those are probably the 3 that I'm most unfamiliar with, just because 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6 have been out so much longer, and I've been into Star Wars. So
yeah,
I've just seen those a lot more. I think I've probably seen 7, 8, 9 like once or twice, like each one probably once or twice.
I think I've seen 7 and 8 twice, maybe 7 3 times. I think it's like 3, 2, 1.
Yeah,
but
I definitely am gonna have to rewatch those just to get ready for that episode, because yeah, I'm like, I know Ray. That's about it.
Ray is
the bomb.comsies. And then you get Luke Skywalker coming back, Han Solo, Princess Leia.
I don't want to
all
talk
the
about
good characters from 4, 5, 6, and then dropped into 7, 8, 9, and then you just get to watch them die, and it's just sucks.
Yeah, you know what? No, yeah, I'm gonna hit on that real quick. They all die. Literally won a movie. What? I'm not gonna say who in each one yet, but the only one that survives is Chewbacca.
But Chewie's just a G, because I mean,
well, that's what I was gonna ask you of the main characters. So if I give you a list of Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Leia, Chewie, R2D2, C3PO, Darth Vader, of those 7, who is the best character in episodes 4, 5, 6? Who's the best one?
Yeah, that's tough.
And who's the worst one? See?
Oh, goddamn. Okay, so I'm thinking I like Han Solo, because he's kind of like the I'm too good for this, but like I'm also a badass, but I'll help you, and I need to help you because if I go anywhere else, I'm fucked, kind of.
Yeah. You got no other business.
Yeah, and then but you have Chewie, where I'm like, Chewie's just like, he's there, he's loud, and like can take people down, like, you have Luke. I mean, he's like the main character. I mean,
you don't say.
But like part of me is like, okay, like
he's overplayed
a little bit. But I'm also like I think, I don't know. I don't think he'd probably be my favorite. But Leia's pretty dope. Yeah, but probably not my favorite. I'm gonna have to go Boba Fett.
Not even on the list. Go with Boba
Just
Fett.
kidding. I'm probably gonna
someone
have to go
who
Han Solo,
dies
though.
in the movies.
I'm gonna go Han Solo.
He doesn't die.
Haha, get wrecked, idiot.
Yeah, you said Han Solo is your best.
Yeah, I'd probably have to say Han Solo, just because that video that we watched before recording this about Luke and Leia really made me cringe, and then I'm just like, I can't.
We'll get into that next. We will get into that.
That's where I'm at right now.
Okay, who's the worst? Who's the worst?
Worst? Ooh. But you can't even. Part of me thinking Luke or Leia, but then I'm like, also you could probably throw Chewie in there, but like Chewie's just like a fan favorite. Like, I feel like I'd get so much hate if I said Chewie.
You probably would.
And like R2D2 and C3PO, instant comedic relief. Lando's pretty dope. Besides when he
When he backstabs him, yeah,
but I
he's
think
an
he was
asshole.
also, but then he ends up saving them.
I mean, yeah, because he's morally obligated.
Yeah. Least favorite. I'm gonna say Sidious. He just looks like, is he on the list? Because
Sure.
he just, the look is just like not
the wrinkly look because of Mace Windu.
Man because of Mace Windu burning his face with electricity.
I am the Senate. Okay, ready? I'll start with worst. Worst character of the trilogy, C-3PO. I can't stand him. He pisses me off. I understand the comedic relief. I understand it, but he's so frustrating. And also, I don't know if you knew this, he's in every single Star Wars movie.
Those are R2-D2.
Yeah. Every single movie, though, you gotta listen to C-3PO.
I'm just a translator droid.
No, I can't stand C-3PO. I understand comedic relief. I appreciate he's there, but I think he's the worst. I think he's the worst character. Best character and most clutch character, R2-D2. Hands down.
True.
Hands down, the most clutch.
I mean, dude, you see it through 1, 2, 3. He literally, any ship they're on,
every
episode.
Trilogy. Every trilogy he 4, saves 5,
6, he breaks into the freaking computers, saves them from the garbage disposal. All right, right there. If that didn't happen, dead, instant, like the series is done.
Takes him to Yoda.
Yeah, it takes him to Yoda.
And then if you want to like venture into the other, like the next trilogy, he keeps Luke safe until a worthy apprentice.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Boom. Most clutch there is. He's also the one that was trusted with the Death Star plans.
That is true.
And getting Ben Kenobi involved in everything.
Yeah.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
You're our only hope.
These are not the droids you are looking for.
These aren't the droids we're looking for. They're good.
But no, R2 by far my favorite. Love him.
I see it. I can see it. I might change mine to C-3PO. Now I'm thinking about it, but like I kind of dig the comedic relief. But that's now fair. That like if you're basing it off of 4, 5, 6, that is when I feel like he's the most annoying because he's like, I'm just a simple translation droid. I don't know how to fix shit. And here R2's like beep 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 boop boop. There, it's fixed. All right, idiot.
I also love how sassy R2 is.
They're like,
and then you guys see through. I will certainly not do that.
C2, watch your tone. Yeah. That's literally C3PO. Yeah.
Speaking of characters, though, you hit it. You touched on it. We might as well just hit it. Luke and Leia.
So, a deleted scene was released in 2019, which reveals that in episode 5, when Luke gets back from living inside of the Tauntaun, they fix him up and do all that stuff. He goes to confess his love to Leia before Han and Chewie walk in, and then when Han and Chewie walk in, the scene starts.
Okay, well, let's break this down. You don't have prior knowledge of 1, 2, 3, right? You're watching it without prior knowledge of 1, 2, and 3. It's not as cringy, right?
Yeah, it's not cringy. It's like, there's a love interest there. Okay.
It's still at the end though, when you're like, oh wait, there's siblings, and you remember like, oh, that's kind of weird. But then you kind of like go, oh well, it's fine. They didn't know. They didn't know.
They didn't know any better.
Yeah, but then you watch 1, 2, and 3, knowing that they're siblings. And we now know other people who knew about them being siblings, Kenobi, and Yoda, and nothing was said, and we have them still trying to bone each other.
Like in the 5th episode, after knowing Ben's dead. Yeah, Ben's dead at that point. it didn't say anything to him. The only time he pops back up is in like a Force Awakening thing. Yeah, like I would have been like, hey, oh yeah, Leia, that person, that girl that you were showing feelings for, yeah, I feel that in the Force. Yeah, that's your sister. That would have been like
Something
one of the
should have been
first things that I would have said. But like, I guess no one cares. And you can just be into your sister, and it's fine if you don't know about it.
We
And then you
said
find
they
out
do
about
stuff.
it. It's like, what?
We said they do stuff differently in space, man. I mean,
true.
Their dad seduced a 20-year-old.
That is
when
true.
He was like 8.
Yeah.
And
Anakin spit some game. So maybe Luke was just spitting his game, and Leia was the first girl that he ever interacted with besides his Aunt Beru.
Who he wasn't like related to at all.
Yeah. Well, actually, kinda. Or no,
Was he?
actually, no, because so Uncle Owen is their Anakin's step brother's kids.
Oh wow. Okay. So no blood relation.
Yeah, I don't think there's blood relation.
Okay. Fair. Yeah, no, I mean, when you go into the knowledge of without knowing 1, 2, and 3, I feel like it's still cringy.
Yeah.
Because then at the end you're like, oh my God, they were siblings, and that's weird.
Yeah.
But then like when you have 1 and 2 and 3, you're like, man, somebody should have said something. And that just makes me think that although these stories were written well before they were published and produced and everything, it makes me think that he was still toying with the idea of, did he want Luke and Leia to be siblings? Yeah. And then when he sealed that fate at the end of the original trilogy, he had to go back into 1, 2, and 3 and make sure that it actually happened.
Yeah. Yeah, and I kind of like, I feel like it's a lot of like, they didn't know exactly what they were going for when they were doing 4, 5, 6. Like, do they want Luke and Leia to be together? I feel like that was kind of a thing for like Harry Potter. Like, oh, is Ron and Hermione gonna get together, or is it
Harry Potter is
and Hermione?
It's the common day Star Wars, but with wizards.
But man. I mean,
it really is though. Other than the whole sibling thing, it really is.
Yeah, and I think it's literally what it is, because Ron is Han, Luke is Harry and Leia is Hermione.
And let's be real, without the knowledge of them being siblings, everyone slightly wanted Luke and Leia to end up together. Yeah. Just like everybody at some point, and I argue with my mother about this, Harry and Hermione should have been together.
Yeah. It's like when you first watch through Harry Potter, you're like, oh
my gosh, dude.
I want to see Harry and
Hermione.
Hermione.
The parallels. Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't. And the fact that, okay. So Darth Vader is Luke's father.
Yeah.
So part of him lives within Luke, right? Genetically speaking.
Yeah.
Well, Voldemort, when he tried to kill Harry as a baby, left part of him behind in Harry. Remember, Harry is the Horcrux that he never meant to leave behind.
Part of him is the dad. Voldemort's the dad. Oh my God.
Oh my God. And Dumbledore is Yoda, who dies before training is officially over.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Oh man. So this went from 4, 5, 6 breakdown to is 4, 5, and 6 Harry Potter.
Is more of his Harry Potter 4, 5, 6. Oh my gosh! Because ready. They have They have them trapped on the planet with the Ewoks, which Ewoks are the best. I'm sorry. They are fantastic. Best. You know what? That's my best character. Oh, 4, 5, and 6. The Ewoks. Ewoks are the best. Sorry,
You're only
R2.
in
Step
six
aside.
there.
Okay, well, best character is 6 is the Ewoks, but they're trapped on the planet with the Ewoks, right? And there's an assault coming down to them, and they're trapped in. At the end of Harry Potter, they're trapped at Hogwarts. And there's an assault coming down on them, and they're outnumbered yet somehow prevail because the main character went to visit the bad guy.
Dude, now I'm really thinking, is Voldemort Harry's father?
Oh, do you see all the parallels now? This went from a 4, 5, 6 breakdown, and it started with the cringe level of Luke and Leia,
and that led
into Harry Potter
and Hermione,
Ron and Han. Oh my god.
Dumbledore, Yoda.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know. That's fishing for straws there.
Ooh, you could argue is not in this trilogy.
Snape and Sidious.
See, but I was gonna say Snape and Dooku because Snape.
Oh yeah,
like.
But that's 1, 2, 3.
I know,
but like it also makes sense though.
Yeah,
that would make the perfect parallel, right?
I mean, Harry Potter did come after. All of Harry Potter came after 1, 2, and 3, right?
Yes.
Majority of it.
The first one came out in like, let's see here.
Oh man,
Harry Potter. Oh, I just put Pooter. Harry Potter. Sorcerer's Stone. Oh, actually 2001.
Really?
But that's after 1 and 2, and 3 would have been, or no. This was 99, 2002, and 2005. So the first one would have been out.
Okay. Interesting though. I'm not gonna be able to look at the books are already
out. So JK definitely read the books and we're like, oh my god, this could be a better book about wizards.
Oh man, I'm not gonna be able to look at it the same anymore.
Right?
New conspiracy theory. Breaking news.
Breaking news. Heard it. JK Rowling is getting sued by Lucasfilm for copywriting Star Wars.
That would be wow. That'd be interesting. Okay, I think on that note, we need to wrap it up. Though.
Yeah, because
we're gonna go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So let's wrap it up. 4, 5, 6. If you had to put them in order from best to worst, what's it gonna be?
Best first.
Yeah.
6, 5, 4.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I think it's 6, 4, 6, 4, 5. See, like
I feel like you could almost switch 4 and 5. The part that's like sticking out to me is like you get Luke. It's the whole. I don't want to be a Jedi. Okay, I'll be a Jedi. I'm not meant to be on Tatooine anymore. And I'm literally just thinking like this is literally Anakin all over again. And but like you get to
you
see
are
him
Anakin's son.
I'm ready to be a Jedi. And Yoda's like, no, you're not. And he's like, yes, I am. Come on, Ben, tell him. And I'm like,
okay. That's fair. I think it's easy to say that the best one is 6, though.
Yeah, I think 6 is definitely the best because you get like the whole resolution of like the Luke and Darth Vader thing, and you might shed a tear or two once you realize what's happening when Darth Vader gets in front of that electricity, you know.
Yeah, and you have Ewoks, which is
Ewoks. The whole Endor scene is freaking phenomenal. That's honestly the main thing that sticks out in my mind.
Well, and we were talking about. I know we said we were done with the effects, but that this chaser scene,
the speeders,
yeah, like the chasing scene with the speeders where you don't have the technology to do that, but yet you somehow made it work.
Yeah, crazy. Like, I don't know
Like,
how they figured that shit out.
for real, because it's like one could say, oh well, it was simply just like they were on like a treadmill, like, and it was just like the scene in the background was just go 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 go, and it made it look
Yeah.
blurry. But like you have them avoiding trees and separating and then coming back together, and just so going from a potential background is moving to stop motion back to background is like so flawlessly and seamlessly.
Crazy.
It's so impressive.
Yeah,
And
and you can't get that anywhere else. Like,
no, I think it's also worth noting that episode 6 is by far the best within this trilogy, and it's very rare for the last one in a little trilogy section like that. It's very rare for the last movie to be significantly better than the first.
3 is better than 1.
I mean, it's rare to have the last one, but yet what we're seeing is a trend with Star Wars breaking that trend.
Yeah, it's
is what I'm
almost like
saying.
they set expectations with the first one of the trilogy. Like, it's not like it's good, but you could definitely have something better, more action. It's a lot of story building. And then you get into the second one, you get a little more action typically. It's either better than the first one or it's worse. And then you jump into the third one, and the third one's typically the smack you in the face. Holy shit, I want to watch that again.
Yeah. And I think it's also sometimes when we see in trilogies, it was the first movie was so successful, we wanted another. Right.
Yeah.
And so then that one was still successful, so we want another. And we're grasping at straws and airs at this point to be like, how can we make it better? But clearly, this entire franchise was laid out for success. Clearly, there was time and energy put into laying it out before it even was scheduled to hit the big screen. And I think that's why we see so much success within each trilogy.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what it is right there. Like, I think they have a good formula in what they're doing. I know we talked about this beforehand, but I would love to see a prequel to the prequel. You know what I'm saying? Learn about how the Jedis come around.
Oh yeah.
Learn about some different lightsaber colors.
That would be just so good.
Bang.
So good.
Because I feel like you can watch the I almost said Harry Potter because I got it up on the screen here. But you can see, like, in Star Wars, you can just watch it 1 through 9 and be like, oh yeah, it was pretty good. But then once you start like getting kind of nerdy and you learn what each lightsaber means, and then you get into like the charts of how everyone is related, and you get into like, this is why the Sith is like this is why the Republic was like this. There are so many little things that pop out in the actual series itself that you're like, oh, I didn't even fucking realize that. And then it's almost like you have to take a double take. So I think a -3 or -2, -1, 0 would be freaking phenomenal. 0
episode -2. Episode -1. Could you imagine?
It'd probably be called like Jedi Saga. Honestly, they could probably make another 9 movies. Actually, I don't know about that.
That's a little much.
But that's probably like, it'd probably be dead after like the third. Because I feel like a lot of it, you kind of just want to know more about like where the Sith comes from, where the Jedi come from.
Yes.
And also like a wrap up of the Sith and Jedi into episode 1, where you see like Anakin develop and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think we can in a couple weeks dive into the whole prequels and what we want to see with that and how they can connect to other areas within the Star Wars realm.
Oh yeah.
But I think what we're gonna do is next week, stay tuned for 7, 8, and 9, where we get into the last installment of the Skywalker saga, where we have good old Rey and Finn.
Oh, Finn, that's his name.
Yeah.
I was like, all I know is Rey. Wait, there's another guy.
Finn.
What's the guy's name?
Oh my god. Oh, and we got some BB-8.
Oh yeah, BB-8, C3.
BB-8.
Oh wait, R2 is in there.
Yeah, R2 and C3PO pay some visits, as well as Luke and Leia.
Han.
And like you said, spoiler alert, Han Solo and Chewbacca showing up out of nowhere.
Kylo.
Yeah. Oh, Kylo Ren and
bad boy Kylo.
Snoke. So
wait, is it Snow or Snoke?
Snoke.
Oh, I always thought it was Snow for some reason.
I could have sworn it was Snoke. We'll have to find out.
It probably is. We're gonna find out next week. All right.
Yeah.
So come back.
Stay tuned for that.
Answer.
Yeah.
But also stay for the breakdown. Come on.
If you want, we're not gonna force you.
But stay around for the breakdown. Yeah.
Just you want to. Remember, it's just like high school postseason, off-season workouts. It's not mandatory, but it's mandatory.
Yes, all sir. Right? Yes, sir. Peace out. Come on. You're gonna watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and just not watch.
You might as well. Just
what? Come on back now.